Welcome to Voices on the Hill. I am your host, Corey King, and I am here with women's soccer players, Morgan Martucci, Sarah Ovalle, and Vanessa Gonzalez. I appreciate you guys so much for coming on the show with us today, and I hope to get to know you guys a little bit better. How are you doing today? Staying cool?
Yeah. Trying.
It's ridiculous. I cannot stand that. When I walk across campus, I am dripping and stuff. I just played a game. Like, it's crazy, absolutely ridiculous. So to get started, obviously, you guys are playing soccer here. Where does that love for soccer come from? And whoever wants to start, just talk about, where it started, who influenced you to, not pick up the ball, but to kick the ball around, I should say. Where did that love, stem from?
I would say my parents put me in when I was really young. My dad played soccer, my mom did for a little bit, but she was more into track. But I was in it very young, and then I just kind of kept with it. I played a bunch of other sports, but it was very much just soccer. I was just I love this, I love doing it, I love the friends. I had multiple friends on my club team that I played with for many years, so it's just that sense of friends and community.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
How about for you guys?
Mine was kind of an accident. So my parents had a family friend who actually coached little league soccer, little sports teams, and he was like, "Hey, you should come out to a game." So my parents were knowing me. My parents didn't do sports; they just great parents. But they were like, "Oh yeah, we should go." So we showed up, and they were like, "Where's her clothes?" And I was like, obviously I was just whatever. My parents were like, "What do you mean?" And he was like, "Well, she's gonna play." And yeah, my parents were like, "What?" We just don't come watch. Yeah, watch the game. Just go and chill and watch the game. So they were like, "Okay, we'll be back." So we ran down to the street, bought me some little cleats, I think it was Walmart, I'm not sure. But we came back and they gave me a uniform and they just threw me in. It was a little indoor place. Yeah, so they threw me in, go kick the ball and score in the net over there. So that's what I did. And so ever since then, I feel I wanted to do it the next day.
Yeah.
And the next day. And so that's how it started. Yeah. So I just
Not a common story. And you're just
yeah.
well, we're going to throw it in there and see what happens.
Yeah.
But to see you here now,
yeah.
thriving, playing at a high level, that's, an incredible story. And I was like, for you?
My mom didn't play sports at all. She's not very athletic. My dad was super athletic in high school. You name it, he did it. Wrestling, football, basketball. Unfortunately, he didn't get to, go on and play in college. It was his dream, but he didn't get to. And just growing up, he didn't push us to play sports if we didn't want to. We did cheerleading for a little bit, me and my sister.
Oh my god.
And then after that, I remember coming home from school one day and we brought a little flyer for the Y soccer team. So me and my sister joined. We didn't think much of it, but as soon as I started playing, I fell in love with it. And season ended. And then I asked my dad if we can actually find a real team to play on, and he found me a team, and I've been playing ever since. I started on a boys team too. I was the only girl on that team.
Did you dominate them?
I was the forward on the team and everything, and it was nice. I don't remember how it was for me playing with all boys, but I loved it. Just playing soccer. I've been playing ever since.
Okay. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see how people's backgrounds and how all of our stories kind of merge together to come to a common goal, playing here.
Mm-hmm.
And so here you are playing for Rogers State. Kind of tell us about how you ended up here. Obviously, you guys have a similar story,
Yeah.
and then you have a completely different track. There's something that people are really not familiar with is transferring. So Sarah, tell us about how transferring here and kind of about that transition for you, because it's a difficult process. So kind of elaborate for us.
So coming from Dallas, I was going to a school in Arkansas my freshman year. I did a full year there. I decided to move, and I went to a lot of tryouts for a lot of D2 teams, and I was at a D1, but I decided, okay, I'm gonna go to D2 because I actually wanted to go and play, train with the team. Because for Division 1s, you can't go and train with them. So I was like, you know what, I want to go. And the first time didn't work out, because I didn't train with them. I felt like I needed that reassurance, like, okay, I want to be with this program, with this team. So I went for a few tryouts, and I really liked the school, the field, and everything. And it was because of the training. So I was like, okay, yeah, this is why I'm coming here. RSU, the soccer. That's why I came here.
Okay. And then for you, Morgan, Vanessa, what was that like for you? You guys said that you had a similar story that you're supposed to go somewhere else, but ended up coming here.
Yeah, so we originally we both went to the same school on like the same weekend.
We were committed to go to the same school. We went on a visit, and that's where I actually met Morgan.
Yeah, we met each other like on our visits to this school.
Okay.
Because like she stayed with some of the players on the team the night before I did, and then we trained together that whole weekend. So like we kind of already knew each other, and then I'm sure that weekend we both committed probably that weekend, and then that coach that was there came to Rogers State, like very very last minute. Like it was
the end.
Yeah, it was like
or something.
Yeah, it was like pretty last minute because I remember like all my senior things that I had in high school was like all to this old school. Like I had to do it with all the old school. So then like last minute he was like, hey, like I'm not there anymore. I'm going to Rogers State, and I was like, well, I'm coming with you. So like he was like, you don't have to, but like if you would like to, come with me. Like obviously you know me, you know the way I play and the way I run the team, and I was like, okay.
So did you guys get a chance to visit Rogers State prior to being like, yep, we're moving with you? Or are you so set with the coach?
So I was in my NLI, I already signed it, so I wasn't technically allowed to come visit. He couldn't set anything up for me, and I couldn't do anything else. So I actually just contacted the school, like if I was just a normal person interested, and they took me on a little tour of the school. So my dad dropped everything, drove me out here, and we checked it out. And I was still very unsure about whether I wanted to come here. It was kind of just like throw all my, I guess, faith in the school.
Yeah.
Like I had no idea about the team or anything. I knew they had my major, and I just took a chance on it, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like still stuck in my NLI, and like they're very easygoing about it. Like if you want out, you can get out.
Yeah.
And so like I didn't even come on a visit or anything before I committed here.
Yeah.
I just like was like, all right, yeah, sure, sign the paper, whatever.
Sealed, and delivered.
Like I think he had one of the players FaceTime me and like show me around, but it was like it was like very low quality. I was just like, nice, it looks good. I was like, okay. And then like I think after I committed and like after I signed the papers here, that's when I finally came on a visit, and I was like, okay, yeah, I think I made a good choice.
Yeah. Well, that's really hard to do. I commended you guys for
crazy. You wouldn't like completely just.
Yeah, I was like, sure, whatever. Let me just sign the paper.
It was not like that for me. I debated it for so long, and I still wasn't sure.
I just like.
How long did it take you to finally commit?
Well, I wasn't given like a whole lot of time to decide if I wanted to stay at the other school. Eventually, the new coach that took over his position called me and said, I'm willing to let you out of it, but you need to let me know soon. Because it was like the end of our school year. And it took me about maybe 3 weeks to decide.
Okay.
Like I came up here and then I went back home, thought about it a little bit, and then decided.
Finally decided. Okay. I wanted to just clarify for the viewers and the listeners, NLI is National Letter of Intent. And sometimes people confuse that with NIL, which is, name, image, and likeness.
Yeah.
And so that's something that we'll talk about at later in the show. But people I wanted to clear that for them.
Yeah.
Make it a little bit clearer for them. You kind of mentioned something in your guys' recruiting process about training and playing. What is that like? Because that's unfamiliar for me. For me recruiting, when my recruiting process for football, I didn't go against them and play them at all. They just, you signed and you kept going. So is that common within recruiting for soccer that you train with the team?
Yeah, I think the 4 years that we've been here, we've had so many numerous girls come and train with us.
Interesting.
And even most of the girls that have committed, the incoming freshmen, they've stayed with me. They stayed with me last year. On their visit, they stayed with the girls and they came and visited and they trained with us and all that stuff. So I think I never trained with the team when I was doing the recruiting process. It was very much just the tournaments we were in, the showcases, the college combines. Like I went solely off of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the camps, like the ID camps. I never went and trained individually with a team. I just went to all these camps and all these ID camps and was trying to get my name out there. Yeah.
Okay. And is that similar for you guys as well?
Yeah, it's very similar. I think just with my club team, we were fortunate enough where my coach would go out of his way and like schedule games with other colleges, like scrimmages and stuff. So I was committed to Eastern New Mexico and I actually got to play against them, which was nice because you see how you compare to people you're eventually going to play with.
Yeah.
My journey was kind of similar to yours. Like, there was the showcases, the ID camps. I did a lot actually, and the coach that recruited me from my old school actually came to one of my games, just random, looking at other people, and he came across me like after that game and said he was interested.
Yeah.
So the ID camps and all that showcase, it was just like, oh, didn't really help.
I know it's literally gonna be my next question though. Okay, all these camps, all these different ways to try to get your name out there. Was it worthwhile? Like, do you not regret, but in hindsight, now later down the road, do you wish that you would have put your time somewhere else? Kind of, walk us through that.
I think I remember like it was like 2 or 3 years in a row. It was like either very early, like very late in my middle school years or like very early in my high school years. I would like go to these like SMU, like D1, like camps, like where you would stay in the dorms and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think back and I'm like, I just didn't think it was worth it. Like it was fun and all, but it just wasn't really worth it to me. I think what was worth it was getting in those tournaments that was with a bunch of college coaches. Like we would go to San Diego and we would go like all over the country just trying to get in these big tournaments with these big name coaches. And even my club coach had college coaches come like to our trainings, like our practices, and run our practices for us.
Yes.
Yeah. So like they would run our practices for us and we'd kind of get an idea of like, okay, what does a college practice actually like?
Feel like?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. And it's so fascinating for me, coming from, I've only known football. And then I was able to expand to women's basketball, but on a limited, sample size. So now to hear about, what other people's perspective is from their sport and what they had to go through to get to, where they are now. And, we have college camps that you go to, you hang around with other high school players, which guys are offered where, but that's about it. So that's interesting to hear that they had college coaches come in, coach your high school team, and then you kind of get a feel, or club team, what that feel is like. So to pivot on into our next part of our discussion, entering your first year of college. What is that process like? What are you feeling? Obviously now that you guys are seniors and juniors, you're at the tail end. But now take a step back and go tell us about what that first process is like. You're stepping on a new campus. You're trying to figure out where you're at on this team. Tell us about that story.
For me, when I was in Arkansas, it was very overwhelming, and I feel like there was a lot of girls that were internationals. Like there was girls from Sweden, from Ireland, from Iceland. There was girls from Germany. I think we had a girl from Brazil. It was a lot of international players. They were all huge, and they were all very athletic. And I'm over here, small, from Dallas. I was like, what are we doing here? But honestly, it was an actual culture shock, moving the transition, because I'm moving from being at home with my parents to going and being by myself in another whole state, and I didn't have a car then, so I was like, how am I gonna get around? Yeah. So it was just more like knowing how to be independent. Yeah. And so I feel like it was just really, I had to be a big girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had to be a big girl.
You had to step up to the occasion.
Yeah.
Because there's someone else that there's somebody else to do anything for you at that time. So how about for you, Morgan?
I think obviously I was really scared. I was this little skinny girl, I was really shy, and the freshmen that I was with, we were friends, but I wasn't super close with any of them right when I got here. And I think also we came in the middle of COVID, So like we came 2020. So we didn't come in with a season to play. We were kind of practicing for nothing almost. So I feel like in a way that was like hard, but it also helped because it gave us like almost like a semester to actually get into it without like having all that pressure on you.
Yeah.
Like we didn't start playing until the spring. So we had the whole first semester to like get in tune with things, acclimate and learn each other and learn. But I will say like one thing is like the seniors, my freshman year were very like inviting for me. They were like, hey, come over for dinner, this and that. And like one of the seniors my freshman year was Maggie Brown, which is our GA now. So like getting to know her from like her senior year to now my senior year is like really exciting for me. And like we're best friends and all of that. But I was definitely really scared. And it was definitely a big shock. Like you said, like I gotta be a big girl. I spent all my money. Like in the first semester, I spent like all my money.
On what?
I don't know. I wish I could tell you. I don't know where it went. I think it went on like clothes, food. I don't know. It went on the stupidest thing.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, no spending money. I'm like, the calf will do just fine.
Yes, it certainly will.
It does.
How about for you, Vanessa? Is there any differences for you and how you felt?
I feel like I wasn't as scared to be here. I was more excited.
Yeah.
Like, it was like the thrill for me of being somewhere new. I don't mind being by myself, so like the fact that I was over here, I was like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like, I didn't think once I ever got really homesick where I felt like I needed to go home.
Yeah.
Granted, my parents did come and visit, but I never missed life back at home, if that makes sense.
And I can relate to that. And I remember when I was making my transition into college, I was definitely trying to get away from parents. Like I'm tired of y'all looking over my shoulder. I need my freedom. I need my space. But it's just a new opportunity to prove yourself. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully, your parents, prepped you for what was to come. Some don't, some do. I felt like I was ready to make that leap of faith and go on and go forth. So I definitely can relate to that. But as you are looking at that younger person of you, the person that you are today, if you could tell that person one thing, that younger version of you, what would you tell them?
Oh goodness.
Either about athletics, about life, about academics.
I think when I was younger, like in high school especially, I wanted to be grown so fast. Like I wanted to be an adult. I wanted to make my adult decisions. And now I'm like,
it's a reality now.
Yeah, now I'm like, dang, I wish I would just like enjoyed the moment.
Yeah.
Enjoyed being a high schooler and like not really having those responsibilities. And now I'm like, I'm responsible for my own, I'm responsible to feed myself. To take care of myself. Like nobody's gonna feed me now.
Right.
Like I have to do it. And like, especially like with soccer, you have to take care of yourself. Like that is your responsibility. You have to get in and get treatment or, ice bath or drink lots of water. Like that's on you. Nobody's gonna be there telling you, hey, drink water. Hey, go see Trey or go see Kira. Like, so I definitely wish I would have just been younger for a little bit longer.
A little bit longer?
Yeah.
Just take a step back.
Yeah.
Enjoy
I'm
this
ready to go back to high school.
I would think the same thing. Like, there's no rush or anything. Just to enjoy every moment, every day by day.
Okay.
I think that's what I'd say.
I have no idea. I think a big thing when I first got here was I guess relying on my faith a little bit more. Like I'm by myself. There's no going to church with family. Most of it's doing it on my own, and it gives me a sense of comfort. Now going to church on Sundays and just finding an outlet, I guess, for that. That'd be the biggest thing for me is what I learned when I first got here. Because I didn't really have I had faith when I was in high school and read the Bible and stuff like that. But when I got here, I learned how much more you need to lean on it, I guess.
I can respect that 100%. And as we're talking about this growth period, and we're talking about how difficult college athletics are. What is your why? Why do you still do what you do? It's a constant cycle of get beat up, heal yourself, get beat up again, heal yourself. So why do you get up and play the game that you love?
I think one, just for the flat out love of it. Like, I wouldn't be out here 7 a.m. practicing with my team if I didn't love it. I wouldn't be out here, like, giving the time that I could be doing other things if I didn't love it. And then also, like, I know how many people are, like, proud of me and how many people are watching my journey. Like, all of my grandparents, like, basically my whole family, my mom, my sister, like, my friends back home, or they're all like, we're so proud of you. And I'm like, that makes me feel so good. And I don't want to, like, and you never want to disappoint them. So I'm like, I'm going to keep going. Like, and it's just nice for them to be like, oh, I watched your game. Like, I'm coming to your game or whatever. Like, that's my why. It's my family, my friends, just making everyone proud back home.
That's a beautiful thing. Having that support and having that support system around you. How about for you, Vanessa?
I think passion is a big part of it. Like, you love it, so you keep doing it, of course. I think also the amount of time was invested in, like, resources from my parents. Like, they did so much for me to get to this point. And I think when I was smaller, I dreamed about being in the shoes that I'm in now. And, like, now that I'm living it, I kind of remember, like, this is why you're here. Like, you wanted to be here. So that's kind of, like, my why, I guess.
For me, I think it's more of, like, just the competitiveness in me. Like, I'm very competitive for everything.
Yeah.
And if I can't do something, I'm like, I literally beat myself up in my brain. I'm like, don't be a little, like, you know, like, you need to do this. Like, you need to accomplish it. Like, finish what you started.
Yeah.
You know? So for me, it was more just, like, just the eagerness and, like, just the drive, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And that is important to have and to lean on, especially in the dog days. Like, when we hit, especially for us fall sports, when we hit January and February, we're in the gym constantly just working out. We're not even playing games.
Yeah.
Obviously, for us, it's so beneficial when we start school. We're starting our season starts. Well, it's that rest of that year that we have to face. It's dark. It's definitely dark. And so, you know, as we began our careers, what was your welcome to college athletics moment? Everybody has one where you're like, yeah, this isn't high school anymore. This is definitely a different level of athleticism. I haven't seen that before. What is that for you?
I think I underestimated, like, the summer workouts that was sent to us. Like, I didn't really do them. I was just like, oh, it's fine. Like, I'll just get fit when I get there. And then, like, getting here and seeing how fit everyone else was, and seeing, like, the size of the girls that I have to compete against.
Yeah.
Like, I was competing for my position for, like, seniors and juniors. So, like, people jump, like, that are much older than me. And I was just like, oh my God. And then the fitness test just really did me in. That really was a wake-up call. I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this.
And what is the fitness test?
Well, back then, it was
Bad.
hell. Sorry. It was hell. It was not good.
Or like what?
It was like you had to do 2 laps and
Around
around the field, and then 30 sit-ups, and then a 10, 20, 30-yard shuttle, 30 sit-ups again, another shuttle, sprint across the field, 2 more laps, in under like 9 minutes.
Oh.
And there was like 2, maybe 3 girls in our entire team that passed it. It was, I have never blacked out. After finishing a fitness test, I blacked out. I don't know who finished after me or who finished before me. I just would sit there and I'm like, oh.
That is crazy. I can only imagine. I hate running. Do not like it. Bless your souls for being able to run as long and as far as you can. And that's ridiculous. I can't even comprehend that.
Oh, yeah.
So, how about for you?
People like sit-ups for what? Like,
Well, it was supposed to be 30 sit-ups and then 30 push-ups.
yes.
And then he realized, like, no one could do 30 push-ups. Like, we all failed time. Like, nobody could do it. Yeah. So then he made it 30 sit-ups and still nobody made it.
Oh, my goodness. In 9 minutes, too?
Something like, it was like 9 or 20 or something like, it was still outrageous.
That is crazy.
That
That is a lot of work to do in 9 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Sarah, what was your welcome to collegiate athletics?
I think it was just speed. The speed of, like, the game.
Mm-hmm.
And just knowing, like, just coming in to college ball, knowing that this girl's already 2 steps ahead of me before I even get the ball. And so I just needed to adjust to that and do that.
Yeah.
And so it's just really, it's all mental also. So you know that, okay, once I get the ball, I'm going this way, or look over your shoulder. Like, once I get the ball, I'm faking it going this way. You know, like just knowing how to do that, to be speed in your brain and not just with your feet. You know what I mean? So for me, I had to learn how to do that.
Okay.
Because, yeah, that was culture.
Oh, sorry. I thought you was gonna be like, okay, next one. Yeah.
I'm sorry,
I think,
bad prompter. That's my
no, you're fine. I was like, wait for you to call me.
I'll do better at my job, okay?
I was like, you're not gonna call on me.
Your hand wasn't raised, okay?
Oh my god. So good. I think a big one Morgan said was the fitness test. I think a big shock even before I stepped on the field or even had our fitness test would be, we had a meeting with all the girls and just seeing girls from such different backgrounds, or like you have girls that are huge, you have some girls that are like shorter but stockier, and like you have people that are fast and stuff like that. Like where I'm from El Paso, Texas, and we're like a large Hispanic culture. So pretty much everyone's from Mexican and around the same place. Like it's not much diversity, but getting here, it's just learning that everyone's from somewhere different.
Yeah.
And have different like background or like how they think was kind of difficult, because when you're playing too, like they have a different way that they talk versus how I would talk to someone that I used to play club with.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
And I'm glad that you brought up home, because that was one of my transition questions. I wanted to ask you, Miss All-Time Leader in points at your high school. That is an incredible honor and incredible amount of work that you have to put in to do. What is that one? Obviously, what does that achievement mean to you? And then obviously, is it still standing to this day? And then how do you obviously, like, that's in the past. And you can't hang your hat on what you did in the past. How does it help you push you forward into what you're doing today?
I would honestly say I don't hold on to it too much. Like, I didn't remember about it till you brought it up.
Fair enough.
in my idea, it was high school, and this is a whole different playing field versus high school. I did enjoy it, and the competition was still there. Like, a lot of good product and people came out of El Paso, so it was something big for me. The fact that I got named MVP for the district, or the goals, it was big for me. But once I got here, it kind of just slipped my mind.
Just dissipates.
It's
it's
there I'm bit a fish that's in a really small pool, and here it's nobody cares about that.
Yeah.
Or even when you do academics, oh, I graduated top of my class, no one cares about that here. It doesn't matter.
No, I respect that, because when you think soon to find out that person was an all-state, that person was a multiple-time all-district member, you just realize this is another level, another step up. And then obviously you go, how can I separate myself from this cream of this crop? So it's good to hear that because some people do get stuck, and they're like, oh, back in the day, I did that.
Yeah.
But it's important to be able to move on and acknowledge your success, and be able to progress forward. So I wanted to ask you guys, you're such an elite group. I think the statistics is that 7% of high school athletes go on to go play any level, Division I, Division II, Division III, Division AA, and NAIA, and JUCO. So it's 7%. So we're an elite club in ourselves. What is the best thing about being a collegiate student athlete?
I think just the family of it. I don't think I would be able to go to college without having built-in best friends. That's the one thing I'm so grateful about being a college athlete is you have built-in best friends. You have a built-in family here. You don't really have to go out of your way to meet new people or get those best friends. I have them here. I have 30 of them next to me. I don't need to do anything extra. Obviously, you get closer with some, but I think just the aspect of I have my family here. Yes, we have families back home, but this is my family here.
Yeah. And
so that was a really big thing for me, and that's why I come every day and work hard every day, because I'm this is my family.
That's beautiful. That's dope. Sarah, over here.
What was the question again?
I was like,
Hold on, I gotta think about what the question
What's
was.
the best thing about being a
Yeah.
athlete?
oh,
You
okay.
made me look
What's
bad.
your job?
I had a question in my head, and then I was listening to more, and I was like, yeah. I was like,
I'm really vibing with what you're saying right now.
yeah.
I'm really hitting somewhere.
The biggest thing. Wait, what was the question?
The most best thing about being
Yeah.
what makes it special
The
to
best
you?
thing. Okay.
What's special about being a student athlete?
I think just like knowing that that's the opportunity was there for you, for yourself, because not everyone gets that chance, and not everybody gets the small sliver of just, oh, I can put my foot in there,
Yeah.
and then bam, like, okay, like I have this option, this option, this option.
Just like not a lot of people make it through.
Right.
Like a lot of people go into college athletics, but not everyone makes it through.
Or they don't
Thanks.
keep going with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just knowing that that's the opportunity you chose to go with is pretty big.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
I kind of agree with Sarah. Like, especially where I'm from, not a lot of people get noticed or move on to the next level. And most of them stay relatively close, or after a year, they drop out and go back home. Like, that's so common from where I'm from. So I think it's just a blessing that I get this opportunity. And when I go back home, there's so many girls that I see, like I'll go to a game, or girls that I know that are dreaming to be in the position that I am. And I don't know, I think like also when I was younger, I used to go to like the local D1 in my hometown, and I used to get autographs from the girls, and they think they were so cool and like popular, and the fact that like I'm a collegiate player now is just crazy.
Yeah, it's like you used to look up to those players, and now like you're that player. People are looking up to
That's
you.
you.
That's like very crazy to me. I think one time after a game, we had to like sign these little soccer balls, and I was like, "Whoa, like we're famous." So I was like,
We made it, y'all.
we made it. That's
So
the
a bunch
end.
of like 5-year-olds who are in there.
Still, they have my name
On their ball.
on their phone, but still.
But you have a point, and this is the reason why I took it. It was the best part for me was the people that looked up to you. I'm a number 2 of 6 in my family, so my little siblings that play they were always, I want to be like you, I want to be just like Bubba, I want to be just like Bubba, what he does, and then literally like, tear jerks, and then obviously I gotta be a big brother, like you know what I'm saying? But and then it's the kids at your high school where you go and they remember you, and the kids at the games that come, they want to come high five you or stand next to you. You realize that it's bigger than you. This game is so much bigger than you. Whatever accomplishment you do, whatever you do, the game, you're extending. You're extending beyond yourself, and that's such a beautiful thing. But on the flip side of that, there is the toughest part about being a student athlete. So, Vanessa, if you would like to start for us, what is the toughest part about being a student athlete for you?
I think Morgan can do it.
Whoa. Okay. I think, like, one, just like, you're an adult now. Like, you have to manage your time. You have to learn that very quickly. Like, if you're practiced at this time, what time do you need to leave your apartment? What time do you need to be there? When are you going to do your homework? You can't, like, you're not supposed to miss class. You have to eat. Like, time managing, and then...
Eat correctly.
Yeah, eat correctly. And I'd say, like, the mental side of it. Like, it's so draining. Like, juggling school, soccer, and, like, a social life. And it's, like, hard to keep, like, to tell yourself to keep going. It's hard to be like, one more day, just get through one more day of practice. And I think that is definitely one of the toughest and, like, very overlooked part of being a student athlete. It's, like, the mental side of it. Everyone thinks, oh, because you're so good on the field, or because, like, you're such an elite kind that your mental's fine. Like, you're built different. We don't need to worry about that. But it's like, no, you do. Like, it's a struggle. It's not as easy as it looks. Like, I might have a smile on my face, but I'm stressing about my homework. Like, I'm stressing about other things when you can't even tell.
And this is and beyond that, but that's that point of why we're here, why we're having this conversation. So people don't realize is that at the end of the day, beyond my athletic ability, I'm still a human being. I'm just juggling maybe 1 or 2 more things than most people are, but that mental health, mental heart, mental health piece is so important to be able to balance and learn how to balance at a very young age. Sarah, how about for you? What is the toughest part of being a student athlete for you?
I think.
I'm ready now. I think I agree with Morgan as far as like being able to juggle everything. I think it's also looking to what you're gonna do after you're done being a student, because it doesn't last forever. And soccer's been such a big part of who I am. Like when I grow up, and it's like trying to figure out who you are outside of that, making plans, because eventually you're gonna leave here. And what are you gonna do? So I was lucky enough to like make a plan for myself, figure out what I was gonna do. So now my senior year, I'm not struggling with what am I gonna do after, who am I after soccer. I just kind of feel more at ease, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
For me, I think the hardest part is kind of just like most said, like juggling everything. So like calling my family, making sure they're okay. Like if anything goes on back at home, like I'm like I can't be like stressing over it, you know?
Yeah.
Or like just knowing that I have, you know, my team to worry about, also making sure that I'm good, you know, like most said, like the school part and everything. And then also I think is like decision making. So like making sure like, okay, I have practice tomorrow at 7 in the morning. I'm not gonna stay up till 12 watching my favorite show. You know, like
It's a tough decision.
yeah, it's a small thing, but it goes a long way.
It certainly
You know,
does.
so I just feel like even like small decisions, like I want a burger today, but I can't because in 2 days we have a game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just knowing, like I guess just decision making. You know, so off the field, on the field, yeah.
There are so many things that make up a student athlete beyond the field, the classroom. It's everything else that we have to do, the in-between things that separate the players that are good from great to are legendary. Because they do everything, they seem to do everything just correctly. So it's a lot, and it takes up a lot of us. But to move on to more of a little bit lighter tone, a little bit more fun, talk about one of your coach's favorite mantras, something that they say all of the time, and it literally just rings in your head. I've had plenty of coaches. I have a coach. I had a coach in my freshman year of high school. Anytime he was named, holy balls, coach. First of all, what does that mean? Why are you saying this to us? But there are things that this coaches say that just ring with you constantly, or the way that they act, the way that they sound. What is something that sticks with you? Any coach, any level.
I mean, I don't even remember like Chris right now, but like he always just says like soccer's not hard. Like we make things so hard for ourselves for no reason. He's like, guys, soccer's not hard. And like as if that's gonna calm us down. He's like, soccer's not hard. I'm like, that's not an answer. That doesn't help me. Like, it's really hard right now.
It can be.
It is very
especially
hard.
in that heat.
And he's like, it's not hard. I'm like, yes, it is. I disagree.
Growing up, I had a coach, and it was Mike Powers.
It's a great name.
Mike Powers, and I was playing in Andromeda, the club back in Texas, and he wouldn't say things to us, but he would always give us like little letters or notes. So sometimes it would be like a little paper, and it would say like a word, and then it would have the definition under it. You know what I mean? Like it was just like he would write a letter like, for example, like Sarah, like I'm so proud of you, like you did really good in this tournament, like you know, like blah 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 blah, and he would give out individual letters like here and there, just to the whole team, and it was like that just stuck with me forever.
Yeah.
And so one of the little cards that I got, it said Sisu, SISU, which I ended up learning was in Finnish.
Don't you have that?
The language, yeah. And so I held the paper with me like forever. So once I decided to go to college, I didn't want to take the paper with me and risk losing it. So I got it tattooed on me right here.
Oh,
yeah.
that's deep.
So I just have it right here. And so
Pulling the heartstrings right now.
yeah. So basically, Sisu means to have endurance when you're facing adversity.
Ooh.
Yeah. So this is my first tattoo also. So I just wanted it to stay with me, and it was really like moving. You know.
100%.
That's basically.
Um, I don't think I have one, to be honest.
Don't have one? I mean, that's
I can't like remember anything right now, like off the top of my head.
Yeah, as soon as the cameras go off, you will be like, oh, I got this one coach. Come on. That's pull it together. Goodness gracious. As athletes, you're not just a soccer player, I'm not just a football player. Did you guys participate, and this is more towards you, Morgan, that you were a letterer in track back in high school?
How about that?
What did you guys participate in any of those sports? And did you find a correlation that, oh, I'm doing this in this sport, this is helping me in this sport, and vice versa?
Well, I mean, obviously you said I ran track, and I ran track like basically my freshman through my senior year.
Okay.
And along with that, my freshman and sophomore year, I played high school soccer.
Oh, okay.
But then, weirdly enough, like I chose, instead of playing soccer my junior and senior year of high school, I chose track instead.
Okay.
So I didn't play high school soccer my senior and junior year.
You just played club.
Yeah, I just did club. So I would practice like 2 times a week.
Intriguing.
But I would just I would just have my track practices and but I think that it helped me tremendously, learning how to run, properly, so that, your foot's right under your body. And so, all that, and then, I don't know, it was just, kind of fun, knowing that, okay, yeah, the girls that are here now, they played soccer in high school, but, I didn't, and I'm in the same place they are. It's just kind of nice to know.
I'm curious, why didn't you?
I just didn't really like the coach or, the environment. It was very, cliquey and very, mean girl type stuff. And I was like, I don't want that. And I enjoyed track a lot better. I enjoyed, the relays. And I did hurdles, and I loved it.
Okay. Well, so what events did you do?
So I did the 300 and the 100 hurdles.
Okay.
And then I did the 4x2 and 4x1.
Freak of nature.
Yeah, it was hard. But I definitely think those workouts
suck.
They did suck, but I liked them. I didn't mind running 200s. I didn't mind that. I will never run a mile if you ask me to. I won't do it.
Wait, hold on.
I'll run a 200.
Hold on. But you play soccer,
yes.
So you're running multiple miles.
Yes, that is true. But I can't run just multiple miles on a given day.
On this out there, just
no, I can't do it. I can do it in a game easily, but after,
same.
I can't do it.
Vanessa, Sarah.
In high school, I didn't really do anything else besides soccer. Just because my coach kind of was, you played soccer and you didn't type of thing. She was willing to work with you, but track was in the same season. I think I would have done track.
Yeah.
But it was in the same season, so she's told us, you can't. But my senior year, I did do cross country.
Okay.
And my main motivation to do cross country was I got to get fit when I come here. Coming in as a freshman, I wanted to start. I wanted to be one of the most fittest girls here. Running, I could run forever, so I decided to just do cross country.
That's why you can run forever.
I know, right?
Well,
were you one of the people that finished the fitness stuff?
I think so. My freshman year, I think I did. A&M.
She blacked out.
I blacked out.
I
don't remember.
She blacked out.
Well, it was hard at first doing cross country because I didn't really, at the time, I wasn't a big fan like Morgan of running just to run. And it definitely changed my mindset about it. I started enjoying it more. I don't even I can run without music if I wanted to.
Wow.
That's built different.
Wow.
Well, for cross country, you're not allowed to run with music, for races.
Oh.
So for practice, we weren't allowed to. So it kind of just became something I got used to. Just go run 3 miles and you can't listen to music.
No.
Okay, question for you. What do you think about when you're running? I know for me, if I'm on a treadmill and I don't have no music going, my brain and ADHD is going berserk. Hey, big buddy, go ahead and hop off the treadmill, man. This, you're hurting the left knee is screaming at you right now. So for you to be trained so well to block that out, what do you think about?
I don't think about running or how far I have to run. I think a big thing for me is if I run with someone, I'll try to talk to them or just think about life and stuff like that. That kind of helps me. Just think about other things that aren't what I'm doing right here in that moment.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to jot some notes down about how to.
Think about
My first meet in cross country, I took off so fast in front of everybody.
She gasped herself.
And I was dead by the end. I was thinking, why am I even here? Why did I do this? Like, F this, F that. Like, I'm quitting tomorrow. And then my second race, I kind of like changed my mindset, and it helped me so much.
And to relate to that, I was a wrestler back in the day when I was a little bit smaller, a little bit thinner. First match, just tried to strong arm him, and then I ended up getting pitted. I was like, wait, hold up, coach. What is this? What is this shenanigans here? What is all about your mindset and how do you prep your mind? And actually, I didn't even have this on my list of questions. What is your pre-game routine? Because it is so important how you set yourself up. For some people can just be jokesters and be like, well, I've done this a million times. But for you, like for you guys, like what do you do to prep yourself?
I think for me, it's just like, music, but like visioning myself doing it.
Mm.
So, just like playing like a small clip in my head, like shooting this girl and then passing, and then they score. You know, so like if I imagine it in my head, I do it. I try to do it on the field. You know what I mean? So it's like I already I'm like I said before, like I already know, anticipating your next move, and I feel like that would help too.
Visualizing your success.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, I like, especially the 7 p.m. games. I hate that it's so late because I'm waiting the whole day and I'm like, got a game later. Like, I'm just thinking about it the whole day. So like, I'll literally like get ready an hour early for no reason, just because like I'm like so anxious for the game. And even now as like a senior, I still get really nervous before games. Like I am shaking. I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh my god. Like in the warm up and everything, I'm so nervous. And like I've done it so many times. But people ask me, are you nervous? I'm like, yeah, I'm nervous.
Interesting.
Like I still get nervous, and I'm not like afraid to tell. I think being nervous is a very good thing.
Means that you care.
Yeah.
Means that you care.
I think a big thing for me is probably like music, whether that's like on the bus or we come in the locker room. There's always music playing, especially with Sarah.
Yeah.
Are you a team DJ?
Sometimes.
Most of the time.
I would like to say, I guess, yeah.
That's something you should hang your hat on.
Yeah.
That's important. Because you gotta play to everybody's vibes.
There's always like a good music.
Yeah, okay, alright, sir, with the music. Alright.
I think also I'm not a very serious person before games. I like to come in, like, joke around, laugh, ask everyone how they're doing. Like, I'm not one to keep my headphones in and just sit in my locker and think about the game. Like, I just bouncing around, like, being happy.
That's like a lot of us in here. Like we have those few that are like very serious, and that's just how they're wired. But I feel like we're pretty like lighthearted before the game because we all know like the common goal. We all know what it is. We all know each other's nervous, so it's just like coming in with a smile on your face, like going around saying hello to everybody and like just like joking with everybody and not being so serious because then like that's gonna freak some of the people out more.
100%.
Like especially these newcomers, if they see us that are like just sitting there like dead, they're gonna freak out a little bit.
Yeah.
It's better to like give them a smile on their face and
100%.
let them know like it's okay. Like, it's just a scrimmage.
That's what we do.
Like we're just playing other people. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
and that is a great thing to have, is to have that relaxed. I was a person that I had headphones in for the beginning. Then we have our warm up, go out there and warm up. But after that, I'm joking around. Hey man, go ahead and pass me that water real quick. Flipped it, got it, you know. Just kind of because you know what you're about to do. Like you've done it a million times. So why stress now? You know? But besides sports, let's move on beyond sports because that's not all who we are. Obviously, that's a huge part of what we do. But moving on to life outside of sports. Talk about, obviously you can take a chance to like talk about your major, but talk about your major and talk about the things why you chose your major and what you're looking to do when you graduate. Because, what I'm saying, especially for you guys, that time is coming rapidly quick. Rapidly quick, he said. Very quickly. So Please, just kind of like just elaborate on that for us.
So I came into college like knowing I was going to do psychology as my major because I was like, I love talking to people about what's on their mind and what's on my mind, and I love giving advice. I love that I'm able to connect with people like that. And I still love psychology, and I still love being able to like interpret things and like just be able to take a step back.
Yeah.
Be like, okay, I get you're going through this. That's not how I see it, but I see why you see it that way. Like I like being able to understand why people react the way they react, why people do the things they do. But I kind of like, especially in this last year, I've had like a little bit of like an identity crisis, I guess. Like I did my first internship and then I kind of like realized I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this actually. Like, I don't know if I want to, I like psychology, but I don't know if I want to go into it.
Okay.
Like in the way that you would think, like be a counselor or be a psychologist. And so like I started looking around and talking to my friends that are doing different majors and like seeing like, okay, what's that about? And so I found a master's program back home in exercise and sports nutrition. And I kind of want to get into more like the nutrition side of things, like even like the sports psychology side of things, like the mental side of the game, any sport, any kind of fitness activity. And so I think that's something I want to pursue is like nutrition and dietitian type stuff. Yeah. So hopefully that's where I go. That's what I'm on right now. I'm on a lot of different tracks, but that's where I'm right now.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You're young, you know what I'm saying? We can do that. You have that luxury to be able to pivot like that. How about for you, Vanessa?
He just loves doing that too.
I know.
I gotta keep you on your toes, you know what I'm saying?
Right now, I'm a medical molecular biology major.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
basically like a pre-med route. So my plan is to go to medical school, become a doctor.
And?
I'm not sure I want to specialize yet. I'm thinking maybe anesthesiologist, but I'm not sure. Growing up, my dad was a nurse. Yeah. And my mom works in the dental field. My sister's even a nurse now, so I guess the medical field is something that's always just interested me because of them. And just seeing like how you can touch someone's life so greatly, I think that was like a big thing for me. And medical school is like a huge investment, like time-wise. You have to have like the mental strength to go through all of it. But it was just a goal of mine that I think if I really put my mind to it, I can do it. Yeah. So that's where I'm at right now. It's just going to medical school. Hopefully I'll pass out. Well, I hope you do. Yeah.
Cuties.
I guess like, I don't know what a hobby would be. You guys say hobby, right?
We weren't on to hobby,
but
okay.
I mean,
if you were, let's talk about your hobbies. Look at you trying to pick up topics. Yeah. You're so tired of talking now, aren't you?
For me, my first major was business. Okay. And then coming here as a transfer, I changed it because I was just like, this is not for me. Like, I need something more. Like, for me, I can't be like, because when I think of business, I think of office, sitting down, being with computers. And for me, I feel like I'm too of a like huge extrovert to just be there sitting down like this. Like all day. You know, so I'm like, I can't do it. You know, like I can't do it. You're gonna like look up and be like, what are y'all doing? Yeah. This is gonna sound crazy, but back in my old school, me and my roommates would watch the show Cops. And so we would always watch the show, and I was like, dang, like those people are mean, you know, like to these other people, like the civilians. And I'm like, but the civilians are doing bad, so that's why they're being like on the show. So for me, I was just like, no, I'm serious.
So your inspiration to change majors was the show?
Yeah, but I never told nobody that. I never told nobody.
Now you're
telling everybody knows. You just spilled the beans to a lot of people.
So my inspiration was to be like better, to like help. You know, like instead of going and being like a show, I guess, like going and being like a difference maker in like the criminal justice side of it. So I did decide to go with criminal law. Okay. So now I am a criminal justice major. Yeah. And hope to be in like the CSI, crime scene investigation, or I thought about doing like DEA. Yeah. But it's just I have to like do a lot of steps for that. But
like work your way up.
Yeah, work my way up. So yeah. So I feel like just being in that field and moving around and just being like, he did this, so like that means this. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Okay.
so,
Figuring stuff out.
yeah, and just like being on my toes, I guess. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, you know, something.
So many promising careers, obviously, right here, and I, wish you well in your future endeavors. But how do you think that you being a collegiate athlete has going to prepare you, or not prepare you? Well, I guess prepare you, and help you succeed within your field.
I think, like for me, being a criminal justice major, I feel like just always having something to do and being on my toes and just having like not an itinerary, but knowing, okay, I gotta do this, like for my field, of what I want to do. So being like an athlete, we have itineraries, we have things we gotta do, we have deadlines, we have to be here at a certain time. So I feel like that would really help me in like after college, so knowing like I can do this, like I did in college for 5 years, so
How hard can it be?
yeah.
I think
There's no
with
fitness test.
no,
There's
I would never
no abs, no abs.
If you join the academy, don't they have
Yeah, you have to get like pepper
fitness?
spray in your eyes.
I think they do
They-
like tons.
They do
You
it with the taser.
You have to know
You
how it
taste
feels to what you're doing to other people. So you
Okay.
still gotta go to
So I know this one.
But it won't be the same. It won't be the same.
Okay.
And then you run those 2 laps, then the abs.
If I could do the fitness test, I could get tased by a taser.
Yeah, there you go. That's how you're supposed to look at it. Little slight intervention.
Yeah.
She's coming back in business, guys.
To you, first of all. Don't tell her what you just again.
I think, especially like being at a smaller D2 school, we don't get the resources that like other big D1s get. We don't get like a nutritionist to come in and tell us what to eat, what's good to eat, how to fuel our bodies. We don't get like all the luxuries all these other schools get. So that's what like kind of led me to take this nutritionist route. Is like I want to be able to do that for myself. I want to be able to go into programs and be able to give them the help that they need. That like we don't have the resources for that. We don't have somebody coming in and like evaluating our program and even like evaluating like our calf. Really, like they do what they can, obviously with what they have, but like I want to be able to go in and like help athletes on what they're supposed to eat.
Yeah.
And like even like non-athletes, like just people interested in the fitness world, I want to be able to help them like what to eat to get like to have this as the outcome.
Yeah.
So I think that was like a big thing, is like we didn't get that and I want that.
Yes.
And I want to be able to give that back to this program. I want to be able to give that back to other programs that don't have the opportunities that these bigger D1 programs do have.
Just because you said that, because we had that in my old school.
You had like a
Yeah,
nutritionist?
so we had a trainer that would go and like after every practice, he would like have us do bands and stretch and stuff.
Yeah.
And then he'd be like, okay, like go to the little nutrition station and get a bar or something.
Yeah.
We had that, and he would like monitor what we ate and like give us little packets and stuff. So
Yeah.
I feel like that is like a big thing to like have.
I think for me, like Morgan said, time management is a huge thing. I think also like everyone's from different backgrounds and you have to talk to people differently. When I go to the medical field, I feel like I'm going to treat people from different areas or that have different values that I need to consider when speaking to them. Or also just being a part of soccer, like you walk around and you wear the shirt, like that's who they identify you as, like, oh, she's a soccer player. Like being someone like bigger than yourself, like I represent the soccer program, so like when I'm a doctor, everyone's gonna call me Dr. Gonzalez. I'm gonna wear the coat, so I have to carry myself like professionally and so that I get the same respect back when I treat patients and stuff like that. I think that's a big thing that they taught me, like you don't know who's watching you when you're out and about.
Most definitely. No, that's great. That's real for real. I want to take it back to when you were just a wee little child.
I don't want to answer this.
Talk about what you wanted to be when when you were a kid, and how that kind of has evolved into where you are now.
I don't know what I wanted to be. I just remember like whenever like the Cowboys would play, and like we would watch like the Cowboys tryouts, like the cheerleaders. Like I had the little outfit. I think I wanted to be. I thought I could be one of them. No way. There's no way. But I think that's what I wanted to be, a little Cowboys cheerleader.
You can still be.
No, that's okay. I don't want to do that.
That's funny. For me, I always liked helping people, and I always wanted to like treat people like. I always liked old people for some reason. Like I wanted to help them, so I wanted to do like.
I need it.
Yeah. So I wanted to go into like nursing or being a doctor or like a surgeon or something. And once I actually like got into college and I met someone that actually like was doing that, and it's like I am not doing that just because it's so much school, it's so much book reading. It's so much like remembering and just it's so tedious. So kudos to you for doing
For real.
because I was just like, okay, I gotta change. I don't even know.
Yeah.
So I did business, and then it's like
Push your dreams.
You have to read books. I'm out.
I hope people are not like that. Like
I think from like a realistically small age, I've always wanted to be a doctor or something in the medical field. I think I shot really big for doctor when I was little, and it's kind of crazy because like when you're little, you're like, oh, I'm gonna be a doctor, and my mom's like, sure you are.
Sure.
Yeah, you can be whatever you want to be. Like you can do anything. And then now that I'm here and I'm actually doing it, it's just like kind of crazy to believe that. I tell my family, and they're like, wow, you're really doing it. I'm like, yeah.
I told you when I was little, when I was gonna be what you were listening.
Yeah, they didn't believe me then, so.
With the hectic schedule that we live, or I used to live, which y'all live now, of being a student athlete, what hobbies and things you guys things that you try to escape from the game, obviously, because it's so important that you can't live within the game forever, or else it's just gonna consume you, and we're more than that. And so, what things how do you escape from the game?
I'll say I don't really have any like specific hobbies. Like I like staying active. I kind of got into pickleball this summer. That was like the big thing everywhere was like pickleball. So I tried it. It was fun. Whatever. But
Play again?
Yeah. It was fine. I'm not very good with the hand stuff, but it is what it is. And then but I think like just being around my friends and like not really having like something to do, like it's nice to like always have something to do, but it's also nice to just sit there and like you don't have to be talking, but you can like be snapping, having a good time, like be enjoying the quality time. I like to read also.
Okay.
Like I just like to have a little book.
What are you reading right now?
It's called Happy Place.
Okay.
It's like kind of slow right now, but supposedly it's supposed to be like very eye-opening. But I don't know.
You really keep us,
Yeah, I'm only on page like 20, so.
This is real
I
fast.
haven't had much time to read.
That's funny. For me, I think it's like calling my family, just because we're away, calling my family, my friends. I like to go shopping, but I never buy anything. I just like to go and like look.
Eye shopping.
Yeah, like eye shopping. I'm like, oh my god, like I'll fill the cart and then I get put back.
I'm not this online. You be dragging in there and be like, oh, well, click that. X out of the tab, but you're actually picking stuff up.
My cart online would be like 25, 30 things, and I just never check out. It's
She just closes it.
Yeah. I think also, I played golf in high school, so I feel like that.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like playing golf, I think, is really fun. It takes my mind off of everything. It's just me by myself.
It's really crazy that you say that because so many athletes escape with golf, like Stephen Curry, J.R. Smith. Obviously, they're not basketball players right now, but I'm sure there are other players that like to. It's been intriguing for me to kind of get started. Like, what kind of got you started playing golf?
It was high school actually. So in high school, I did soccer like my first, second year, and then my third year. But I didn't really like it just because of the atmosphere. So I didn't play my senior year, but I started playing golf my sophomore year. So I was doing golf and soccer for 2 years. And then I just finished I finished sophomore, junior, senior year golf. And I had no idea what I was doing. I had to learn how to swing. I had to learn how to grab it. I had to learn how to like maneuver my shoulders and everything. So it was just, honestly, it was just a new challenge. And I was like, okay, like I finished it. I started it, so I gotta finish. So going into it, in the tournaments, you had to walk a lot. You know, there was no golf carts to take us anywhere, so we literally walked everywhere.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, so actually, I enjoyed it. I had a good time and stuff for a good while. But I think, and then me going into like when we went district, you know, I went to regionals. I didn't do that great, but went to regionals. But I just honestly like just enjoyed it. So it was just kind of just like something I can do that's not soccer.
It's nice having that outlet.
No, most definitely.
Like not soccer. Yeah.
How about for you, Vanessa?
I think family is a big thing for me. Like even when I'm home for the summer, like my family's very family oriented. So like every night we'll eat dinner together most of the times, or like weekends are cookouts and my dad pulls out cornhole or stuff like that. While I'm here, I do talk to them quite a bit. Like my mom will call me and check up, or my dad will call me. Most of the time it's soccer related, but he'll call me.
It's okay.
I think also a big thing is I have a little dog on campus.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was
You
no
should
problem.
bring him.
But yeah, I think a big thing, like after trainings, we'll go take him on a walk or just take him down to the field and throw the ball. And it's just like, he is like a huge escape for me just because.
He's a beautiful dog.
Thank you.
Beautiful dog, 100%. Okay, I got one final question. Just because it's so important to pass down knowledge to people who are going to be stepping in our shoes or who are looking to step into our shoes, what kind of advice would you give to somebody that's looking to step into college athletics or wants to pursue college athletics?
I would just tell them, like, remember why you're here. I think that's a big one. Like, you're going to go through a lot of stuff, whether that be, like, you get homesick or fitness tests or things like that. Just remember why you're here.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing for me. I think something I would tell anyone that's coming into college for any sport is to just be yourself.
I was just gonna say, like, remember who you are.
Yeah.
Like, remember what you're about. Like, it's very easy to get dragged into the influence of others and what they're doing, and I think, like, it's very important to remember who you are, what your values are. Like, it doesn't matter what your teammates are doing. Like, as long as you're doing you and you're happy with that, you're set. And like, you can do it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard. It's not meant to be easy.
Yeah.
Like, every time we're running, I just think to myself, it's not meant to be easy. Like, you like get through this. It's not meant to be easy. It's gonna be hard, but we're almost done.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna be hard, but you can do it. Like,
And just knowing, like, you, like, yeah, and just knowing, like, you individually have this opportunity.
yeah.
Like, don't waste it.
Yeah.
You know, like, the biggest thing that is, like, I think my dad always told me, like, don't waste your time.
Yeah.
You know, like, the biggest thing is that people waste their time, so don't.
Because I see like a lot of girls that I played club with in high school with that were so good, have so much talent, and decided not to play. Like, that's fine of you, but it was like, oh, like, you're so talented, you could just so well.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get to do that, so I'm not going to take it for granted. I'm not going to complain about the practices and about the ways and about this, because that's what I signed up for.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know what you're signing up for.
Who chose this?
Yeah, don't complain. Like, just get through it.
Yes.
And then you can go take a nap.
100%. Naps are key.
And that's right.
Naps are key, especially as a student athlete.
Yes.
Keep that in mind, friends. Well, I appreciate you guys so much for taking this time just to have a conversation with us. But this is Voices on the Hill, and we're signing off.